And for myself, I'm actually, for those of you who know my style of martial arts, liquid, I'm actually imagining someone fighting me. So I have to avoid their punches, grab it, and throw it, and sweeps and stuff, you know. Go into a head, or go from it. You know. So basically, what I'm trying to get at is, everyone's liquid is so individualized and so creative because what we are seeing in our minds, what our life experiences give us, you know. And I guess the whole idea that I love what I was talking about too. The idea that after a while you no longer need these visuals to help you dance because your body just knows, because you do it so much that it just comes out. And I think that's what's so beautiful about liquid, is trying to find those limitations and rules that you're working with in order to be creative. You know, find those few rules, put them together, and be creative with it and go deep into it. I think liquid's a deep dance. It's not a wide dance, if you will. Or some dances have a wide range of movements. Ballet has the vocabulary of, you know, positions and stuff, and or whatever, you know, dance styles there are. Locking has its own set of movements. But liquid, we take a rule, we take a concept, and we go so deep into it, and that's what the beauty of liquid is.
More depth, less span.
Yeah.
Integral Ken Wilber's philosophy. As things evolve, they get more depth but less span. Like the peak of a mountain as it rises, the cultural creatives are at that point more depth, less span.
And I guess to kind of go on too is that liquid's not just about the physical. Like Tiny does it. The way Tiny does it, it's emotion. It's all emotion. It's all here. And I think there's so much.
Spiritual.
Yeah, so much in there.
Man upstairs. Your source.
So I think kind of this workshop was kind of geared towards, I guess, when Kai told me and Tom told me about this, geared towards beginners. I really encourage us who are here to figure out our story. You know, figure out who we are and what our story is. Because one thing I truly believe is that what's so unique about dancers is that we are the very medium of our art. Painters of paint, musicians of instruments, you know, what have you, photographers have the pictures. Yeah, we ourselves, we are the art. You know, we are the medium of it. And so every experience that you have, every testimony that you have, that's what goes into our dances. That's why I love sitting here and listening to those workshops, especially old school heads good, because like they tell the history. This is why their dance is the way it is. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's so important. You know, in the forums, I always like, shut up and dance, shut up and dance. I'm like, no man, let's dance and let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's dance and then figure out who these people are who are dancing, not just the dance itself. Because to me, that's so much more important. Or we're talking about even liquid concepts. Liquid, we talk about, okay, there's a rail, here's the flow, and here's the hand flow. Add together, some of its parts, the flow is greater than some of its parts. But if you look at dance, you think what dance really is, I would say this. I think a dance is the sum of its dancers. A dance is the sum of its practitioners. And we are the ones who create the culture of a dance. And I think that's I guess a word of encouragement is, whatever life experiences you have, you're unique from other people. Whatever dance styles you've been influenced by, whatever movement styles you've been influenced by, whatever life experiences. I mean, going through that kind of Romanian government, oh, that's crazy, you know what I'm saying? But that's influenced the way he sees, the way he feels, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's so powerful. Don't neglect those things in light of the physical aspects of the dance. That's who you are. And I think one thing underlying all of this is the idea of liquid. We're talking about liquid, right? So flow. That whole idea of flow, don't lose the flow. Eric keeps telling me it to me over and over again. Because, you know, I love experimenting with different dance styles and trying to get the flow. But a lot of times I lose the flow in order to find the movement that I like. But yeah, I think Eric's he's got me down on a point, is that don't sacrifice the flow for the sake of movements, of moves. And I think that's one. Yeah, exactly. And just, I guess one really small deviation from what we're talking about is just small ideas of how to just, I guess, be creative with flow. So if we're talking about mental approach to liquid anyways, how do we create flow? You know, we have a lot of cutters around here, and it's so awesome to see like all these different dance styles coming together and trying to make something new. Whether we contribute to tutting or tutting contributes to liquid or whatever it is, you know. And even just thinking about the idea of tutting, we have tutting, right? How do we make that liquid? What am I doing there is simply this. Something Lucas said actually, last time I was out in Baltimore, really set me up on this idea, is liquid, he kind of saw a part of it as one thing following another. Right? And I was thinking, okay, how do you make tutting like flow? And we were talking about this too, sorry, I'm like all over the place. But liquid's a dance transition. Yeah, I am, whoa. The liquid's not a dance where we hit the movements, like we were talking about popping this. You hit a shape, you know? Even ballet, you hit the shape, or whatever it is. But liquid's always in motion, constant motion. So since it's in transition, the way to create flow is within the transition itself. So as you're cutting, how do you create that excess motion? I would say this. Let's say you're going down with this hand, and your next transition is down here. So it's this, or whatever it is. As you're coming in, start your next movement and transition. It's also with a time lag, in a sense. You can create a flow through time lag. And I think you can do that with every movement there is. Create a small time fraction of a second time lag with each movement overlapping. Right? So even here, I continue to flow with my legs. Well, I kind of set up, but the flow will still be there even if my head moves with it. And I think that opens up to a lot more than just using a handful or using just a figure eight. And so I think lastly, the point I'm trying to get in the end is there's no limit to what you can do with liquid if you just understand what flow is. And obviously, that's an elusive question that that escapes all of us. What is flow? But I say the answer is not that we should answer what flow is as a community, not that we should answer what flow is as a group of dancers, but we have to answer what flow is for ourselves, and then from that we can increase basically what the creativity of flow is, with this generation of dancers, I guess, that we're influencing. And the last thing I want to close with, since we're talking about thinking about the dance anyway, is we've been talking so much this weekend about the techniques behind the dance, the emotion behind the dance, the character behind the dance, that the question I ask us is, do we ask what our dance is like in a larger context? Something like what Plain White Time is doing. Think about the dance that's beyond ourselves, the dance that we can use to influence. And the question I ask us is, what can we do with our dance? More than just the movement itself. What sociological impact can we make? Whether it be small, whether it be just a group of friends who have fun, that's a sociological impact, right? Or what could be something bigger like this, gathering a bunch of dancers together, sharing ideas, and making an impact on the future of this dance. I work at a school with behavior disorder, emotional disorder kids. I use my dance in order to teach them to release. I use my dance in my church in order to teach people to worship through dance, through their bodies. So lastly, the question I want to pose as we close, I guess, this conference time is, what will you do with your dance? And I think I've just been so inspired by all of us here, whether we are veterans of whatever, or we just started yesterday, because we're here and we want to make our dance better, and we can use that dance to make an impact. So yeah, just thankful to be here.
Yeah.